Hello everyone, over the past couple of days there's been a lot of talk about the update, delays in the update, and where the game is going. And today the devs actually gave us a roadmap of what we can expect in the first half and second half of 2024. Now this might not be the typical videos you're used to watching. You usually want hints or tricks or tips or this is how you do this, but this is still stuff we should be talking about the game to have a better idea of what to expect if you continue to play. Now, if you have been playing since soft launch or actually even global launch there, you know at first we did have a roadmap for the first 3 updates, or at least till the end of the year, to know what we were expecting. Was it all spot on? No, but it was nice to know what was coming to the game, and that's what they did for us, and they even took it a step further and let us know what was coming in the second half. Now, if you don't know already, there is a bunch of players that have a test invite to the game where they can test out these updates for bugs and so on before the game releases. I am not one of the ones in there, unfortunately. I did apply to it and thought this would be great to get some sneak peeks of knowing what's coming up in the videos, but at any rate, I'm not in it. I'm not bothered by it at all. Now, what we do know, at least this update that is coming up, we are getting some new heroes. There's going to be some comeback rewards. If you step away from the game for, say, 10 days or so, you'll have a little bit of a new reward system. And obviously, they're going to be making balancing changes to heroes, adding some push notifications, but we won't be seeing that guild battle in this update. Come next update though, 1.7, that's where we're going to be seeing this, and it looks like we're all going to be kind of having a beta test phase. I mean, probably it's only going to be around for maybe a couple of days, see how it goes. They're going to gather some feedback and then kind of tweak it so it's better the next time they release it. From my understanding, once it is released from there, then we'll have it as much as we want to, or however the timer works inside the game. So starting off, it will be a 15 versus 15 players, and they say that they eventually want to get it to a 20v20. I personally would like to see a 30v30 in the fact that, hey, there's 30 people in a guild. Let's just utilize everybody we can in it. And if some people don't attack, well, that's the fault of the guild themselves. And on the other side of it too, I'd like to see something for like 5v5s or 10v10s where there's not enough players inside the guild and still give those smaller guilds a chances to test it all out. Now, the second thing they mentioned for the first half of the year is transcending an enhancement of divine gear. And where that does sound like the legendary runes, I don't think they're actually talking about that. I think they're talking about our equipment, the mythic gear. I believe because it's yellow, they're referring to that as divine gear. This part is all in speculation, but even if it's not the mythic gear that we're talking about, I wonder if we're going to be starting to see some divine stats that can be re-rolled on our equipment to give those additional boosts. So think of it as your sword or your axe is going to have, an extra 10% additional damage just by re-rolling, kind of like having substats for our runes. I imagine we'll be seeing something like that for equipment. I kind of think back to the actual archero times there where we had jewels that could get put on the equipment. And I think that might have been runes there even too. But at the fact of you got enough jewels of a certain type, you could equip it. It would give you a certain number of attack, health, dodge, whatever. And that was specific based by the gear that you wanted to throw it on. So on top of the guild battle, this is something that I'm curious to see. And I think this will be a benefit to the game. Now, the third thing they mentioned was going to be the Champions Arena. Honestly, for me, I'm not really caring to this. I believe this is more after the whales. Yes, I am sitting, say, in the top 70 or 80 on both of my accounts there, or if I'm lucky, I'll get to 80, but I am sitting pretty high for Advanced Arena, but I think this is more targeted towards the whales, so I don't know. I'd like to maybe see how this is going to work a little better, because I really believe that a lot of this update stuff should be for everybody, and if this is going to be the best of the best of the best, well, obviously the money spenders are always going to have a step ahead of everybody else, so for me, I'm not spending that much. I have been playing for a while. We are pretty up, but I don't know if this will necessarily fit for my situation. Well, they do mention a spectator mode, so maybe I can be the guy on the sidelines that's just watching somebody else play and use their maxed out army at level 420, whatever it is. Now, this next one here is one that I've been wanting for a while. And that's going to be the Ancestral Tomb for your light and dark heroes. I think this should have been put in here like maybe the second or third update inside the game, but this is something I'm excited for. I want to go and just push all my lights, all my darks, or combine them together and see how well they can do in an Ancestral Tomb type scenario. I mean, I'm thinking Benzo, Lilith, and Zeg. Those just sound solid. Throw a Selena in there and maybe a Taros too while I'm at it. But as I said, they mentioned this in the first half of the year, so we're going into month number 3 right now, so this would mean into month 6, so sometime within the next 3 months, let's call it, we'll be seeing this stuff. The next one in the first half is going to be a friend system. And this is where things always get crazy for me. Usually they only allow you to have something like, say, 20 or 30 friends inside these Habby games, and then you can send rewards back and forth for like 10 of them. So think of it as every day you can send a torch to 10 of your friends and you can receive 10 torches. That's typically how these friends things are. On top of that, you can see their current chapter, what they're wearing for gear, things like that. Nothing really too crazy, but like I said, this is just by going based by what I've seen in other games that I expect to see in this one too. Next, they mention a new event system upgrade, pretty much mean that we're going to be getting a new wide variety of events. As somebody that makes videos on the game, I gotta say, it does get a little repeating, making the same Cave of Abyss, making the same Honor Arena. I mean, don't get me wrong, people want to see it. They like the start saving ones. They want to know, hey, this is when I should prepare. But for me, it's one of those things of, you know, it's just like going to the work and doing the same motion over and over again. Nobody really likes work, and that's how it starts to kind of feel with doing it. So I'm looking forward to getting new stuff. Hopefully rewards are as good as they promise inside the game, but this one right here is a sure win for me. And lastly, for the first half, they have a rare hero consumption. So just kind of a way to save up some of your slots inside the game. If you are one where you save your 400 or 1,000 summons, you know when you start going and popping those things, you're going to get it of saying your inventory is full, go and either spend gems to increase it or start fusing some heroes. And I don't know if it's a way to kind of shrink that pot of all your heroes, or if we're going to actually be seeing something more like a shard system inside the game like we do for our 20-star heroes. I know myself, it seems for me that actually getting some of these rare heroes is becoming more of a difficult situation than going and getting epic heroes, because that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I've got a bunch of heroes I can fuse, and really it's all relying on me just needing some burners to go and pop them in there. Yes, I probably could go and spend my gems a little bit differently on it, but nobody's really going out of their way to go and pass up on an epic hero to go and get a 4-star rare. So what's listed as for the second half of the year, I am a little skeptical on this first one. And this is going to be a pet system inside the game. Now, I say that I'm skeptical because I find that a lot of the games that when the pet system comes out, that kind of seems to be a useless thing inside the game. And I feel like a lot of it could be a cash grab more than an actual benefit of the game. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know, before this, I played sssnaker. Before that, I played survivor.io. When the pets came out, I just thought, man, this is just boring and stupid. I didn't even want to play it anymore. It just was one of those things that it just kind of ruined the game for me. It just felt like too much stuff was getting added when there were so many other things that can get fixed. On the other hand though, Archerhead Pets inside the game, they really didn't do too much at all besides give you some additional stats inside the game, so it was kind of helpful. I just really hope that they kind of put some effort into this and don't just make it as here's a cute cuddly thing for you to spend money on, we get rich, and you just get something that looks fancy inside the game. So like I said, I'm hoping they really spend the time on it. Don't give us just another piece of garbage to have in there and something to upgrade and something nonsense to go and climb for minimal rewards or minimal use inside the game. So really, please don't let the pets ruin the game. The second thing they mentioned for the second half is going to be an enhanced chat kind of system. And this is more of a 1v1 or, you know, talking to one of your friends inside the game, just kind of having the conversation. Think of it as just like a DMing somebody. So we have our global chat, we then have our clan chat, and now you have a way to just say, hey, I want to talk back and forth with this person. They seem to have good information or they can help me. That's kind of where they're going with it. With having Discord out there, I don't really see this being too necessary, although I think this could be kind of useful for a guild situation of even maybe just have it where your leaders and co-leaders could talk to each other. So maybe a 3-person chat, I think that could be beneficial. But as far as just being able to talk to a friend, I can do that over on another service that's been around for a long time. The third thing they mentioned is additional guild content, and this one sounds pretty cool. They mentioned a guild raid. Now, I don't know if this is going to be where, you know, you actually group up together, you all have to be on the same time, or if it's going to be one of those things where, you know, there's a boss at 100%, somebody attacks, drops it down to 95, the next person attacks, drops it down to 92, and just kind of one of those things of how fast can we get the damage down, or how much damage can we do to a boss altogether. So really curious to see that. I hear raid, and I think like World of Warcraft style, you know, Leroy Jenkins running in for the tank on it there. If you guys don't know Leroy Jenkins, you should really know Leroy Jenkins. But at any rate, they mentioned that, but they also say that there could possibly be more guild-related content where guild members work together to get stuff. So once again, I think that's cool. And like as we got going on right now with the guild battle, as long as it's implemented properly, really time and energy is put into thought in the game, I think as long as the outcome is good, then we will see everything else, you know, just kind of flowing the way it should be. I always think to the situation where they added archero, they had PvP put in there, and it was just so bad. It was glitchy. There was cheaters. They've never really been able to get a hold of cheaters in all their games. I mean, yeah, they banned some people, but the cheat system has always been terrible. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be an archero approach, but so far this game's been pretty good as far as correcting things and making it run smoothly. Even just taking the suggestions and getting rid of the bugs. The other games, they stayed buggy, and those things just never really seem to get fixed. And lastly, they mentioned the crafting system upgrade, which is going to be more ways to create new crafting materials or what we already have inside there. And this is one that I think is huge because I find it really annoying that I can only have 5 of the purple ones to go and say craft together. And when I go and get that and create it, that's it. I can't go and take that item I just crafted and craft it into something else. I've been playing these Habby games for a while, and everything seems to be pretty much standard on. You go and you upgrade your normal enough, it goes into a common. You go and upgrade the common one enough, it goes into a great. I really think you should be able to start with a base piece of equipment and keep on upgrading that all the way from the lowest all the way to the highest. I don't think there should be a stop on it. I mean, yeah, S-grade equipment in some of the other games that, you know, you'd have to get that to go through. But still, I really think that if I'm going to be taking something to purple, I should eventually be able to take it to red and so on. I don't want to have to go and wait till I get to the Dimensional Rift level 12. Hope out of the 10 times that I played it, get one of those 20 something pieces of red equipment and then try to get a second one. It's just taking so long to get some of this crafting equipment inside the game that it's not even fun for me to really play Dimensional Rift, because I know it's not going to be anytime soon that I'm going to get it. And it just kind of puts this, you know, distance far thing of like, well, do I even try? But for the sake of making videos on this game and keeping my hopes up, I keep on thinking maybe they'll adjust the drop rates or get to this a little bit sooner. But it looks like at this point, we're going to be having to wait for the second half to make some sort of adjustments. I really think for where I am in the game at chapter 34, I already have some mythic gear, that it should be a little bit easier to get some of this stuff to maybe, you know, somewhat red gear in there for the crafting. But like I said, that's just my thought personally on it. I'd love to see more ways to get some of this artifacts, you know, whether it be an event or even, you know, spending gems on it. But right now, this stuff is just almost non-existent for me. I've pretty much played every day since Dimensional Rift came out, and so far, I think both accounts, I have 2 pieces of red gear. One of them, I was able to get lucky and get it up to a legendary +1. But still, there's a lot of pieces out there, and I haven't even had a chance to see any of them. So starting tomorrow, we'll be seeing the Guild Mimic event. That'll be a nice addition to the game. And then obviously the update and Deep Forest event, I believe, is going to be dropping on the 4th. So really curious to know what you guys think of this roadmap here. Are you excited about some stuff? Were you hoping to see a little bit more details in there, see some better things? Or are you just kind of like, it is what it is? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to know more about the hero buffs that are coming to this update, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.